Hey guys, it's Drake with the RPG Construct, and we are going to do video 1 in our Mouseguard how-to series. I'm going to do this one on character creation. Now, I tried to do one for this last night, but it came out to about 45 minutes or 50 minutes to really work everything out. So what I'm going to do is kind of break this up into, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 videos. We're just going to do the very surface level stuff first. Just come up with some names and stuff, and then we're going to get into the actual mechanics and statistics and stuff like that. So just hang in there. We'll get it all figured out. Now I went online because, you know, internet's awesome, and I downloaded a Mouseguard fillable PDF. So let's go do that. So here, guys, as you can see, this is your typical, you know, Mouseguard sheet. It's got your name, your parents, senior arts, and all that stuff. You guys can read everything there. It's got your abilities over here on the right. It's got your skills down here on the right, and your traits down here at the bottom left. Okay. This second page is a lot of kind of reminders, just things to keep in mind, just with the game mechanics and stuff like that. So we're going to be dealing with page 1 here. Okay. So in this particular video, all we're going to do is just come up with this stuff. Right here, okay? Some of the stuff we're not going to be able to, but it all kind of goes together, but I'm going to try to break it up just to make it a little bit more simple. Okay, so as I said in the introduction video, Mouseguard is all about, when you create a character, it's all about your background, where you came from, understanding where, like, what area you were born in, who your parents were, what they did for a living, who trained you, you know, what's your personality? What is how are you as a mouse? You know, are you the thinking, kind of step back and take it all in kind of person? Or are you on, you know, the type that's just going to rush into battle every time? And that's stuff that we're going to figure out now as far as who the character is. And then next video, we'll get into the abilities and the skills and all that stuff. So first thing here, obviously, name. Now, according to the book, it talks a lot about, you know, kind of your typical medieval fantasy names. Think like human names, like, you know, Roderick or stuff like that. So I'm gonna make this one Connor. Oops, what did I do? I just made it all blue. Make this one called Connor. We can just do the first name. Now, your parents are very kind of important here. But so before we go there, let me back up. Let's go with your hometown. Okay, now in Mouseguard there are, I believe, 8 territories, and each of these territories is kind of known for something. Example, there's a place called Barkstone, which is just a busy working class town. You have a place called Copperwood, which is basically known for mining. It has 2 mines in there. Let's see, Elmos. It's basically known for its medicinal moss. It's kind of a new age type place. Ivydale, renowned for its bakers and bread. Lockhaven, it's the home of the Mouseguard, where the Mouseguard started. Port Sumac, it's basically just a bustling little port between Darkwater and Rustleaf, just 2 little areas. Shellborough is a simple town known for its delicious drinks. And Spruce Tuck, which is known for scientists, medicine, and scent concoctions. So this actually affects your character quite a bit. You know, what am I doing? I should be talking to you guys. So this really affects your character a lot. All right. You get skills and traits as you build your character based off of your starting territory, where you were born, what you learned. So you're going to have certain skills based off of that, and traits based off of, you know, generally where you came from. So with this one, let's go with, oh, I don't know. It's my first one I've ever made, so whatever. Let's go with Copperwood. We'll say that the city that I'm going to become from is Copperwood. All right. So that's one of the oldest cities, and home of one of the only 2 mines in the territory. So we'll get into what that is. So this is kind of a mining, kind of blue collar area. Okay, it does give you some skills and traits, but we're not going to get into that right now. So as of right now, I am Connor from Copperwood. What color fur am I going to have? Well, you have brown, You have blonde and you have gray. Those are the most common. Brown is the most common, but brown, gray, and blonde, your typicals. Black and white are pretty uncommon, and red is rare. But Connor from Copperwood, I think that red would work really well. He's especially from someplace named Copper. You have that orangish hue. I think that would work really well. So now we're going to jump over here to parents. So Connor from Copperwood with red fur. Who are his parents? And you got to think about this. They're in a mining town. So were his number one, you got to name his parents. You can come up with anything that you want it to be. I want to say that his father was Connor Sr. and his mother, let's call her Nadine. Why not, right? So what did they do? I'm thinking that Connor's father was probably a smith. Maybe the family business was some type of smith. You're in a mining town, so maybe this guy knows how to work metal and stuff like that. And again, all that comes into play a little bit later, but right now we're just trying to just name these people, okay? The next, you have to come up with a senior artisan. When a mouse is selected for the Mouseguard, when he's selected for the Mouseguard, he is given to a senior artisan for 2 seasons, or at least 2 seasons, to kind of learn a skill or a trade. There is a list here. Let's see. And it's things like archivist, armorer, baker, brewer, carpenter, healer, potter, smith. There's, I think, a list of about 15 of them that you have to choose from. It's all on page 304 in the Mouseguard handbook. So just kind of keep these things in mind because these will come into play later. But I think that this guy's probably going to go with armorer since he was in a mining city, mining town. So let's go do that. Let me switch it over to the screen here. So, and what's this guy's name? I'm kind of like in the Scottish thing. Maybe Seamus. And we'll just say he's an armorer. All right. So in the town of Copperfell, this, Connor, this red-furred mouse, when he was initially accepted into the Mouseguard, he was sent to an armorer to learn a trade for 2 seasons. Okay. So again, you can see how kind of the backstory is coming into play here. Next, we have to come up with a mentor. Okay. After a mouse is under a senior artisan for 2 seasons, then he is given to a Mouseguard to be his mentor for a few seasons. It doesn't specifically say how many. Obviously, some could be faster than others, but a mentor. So the one thing with the mentor is you have to think about, yes, he's going to train him to be a Mouseguard, but what was that mentor good at? Okay, what was his, what was his or her specialty that he is going to really push and stress in this mouse's training, in your mouse's training? And there's a selection of 9 here. Okay, fighter, healer, hunter, instructor, pathfinder, scout, survivalist, and weather watcher. Okay, so all this is going to come into play a little bit later when we get into the next video, but you just want to kind of think about, what did this guy stress? I think being such with the metal and stuff, I think he's going to stress being a fighter. So what I'll do here is we're going to name him, Colin. Why not, right? And we're going to say he stressed fighter. I'm just putting these little notes next to these in order to remind myself for a little bit later. Okay. Next. All right. And I'm purposely, by the way, skipping age and guard rank right now, guys. This is just figuring out the background. So next, after we got the parents, senior artisan, and mentor, we got to pick a friend that he knows really well, that he can always depend on. And it can be anything for any reason, but you really want to think about how this person, which you have to name, is tied to you in some way. Why are they your friend? Why are they important? Okay, so again, off the top of your head, normally you'd be sitting around, sitting around with everybody and coming up with this together, but for the purposes of, we're creating it. We're just going to do it one-on-one here. So, I don't know. Let's say he has a friend named, let's say Kim. And just for my own knowledge, maybe she's, I don't know, maybe she's his first love. She's the first girl that ever broke his heart. But she still stayed, even though they're not together, they've still stayed, they stayed close. He's been friend zoned, really wants her back, but she's like, no boy, chill out, it ain't gonna happen. But if he ever needs anything, he knows that she's gonna be there. So Kim is Connor's friend. So next we go to enemy. Why would, this mouse in the mine have an enemy? Well, it could be a multitude of reasons. Why do any of us have enemies in life, right? So I'm thinking it's going to be a guy, and I'm going to say that, I don't know why the Princess Bride is stuck in my head, but I'm going to say that his enemy is going to be Lord. No. Yeah, we'll do Lord. I don't know what his name could be, guys. We'll call him Merrick. All right? And so let's just say that he's a noble, right? He's a noble, and he's my enemy because he commissioned some sword or weapon from my father years ago, came in and demanded it, right? Just like the Princess Bride. And instead of paying it, he wanted it for free. And his father refused. And maybe he didn't get killed or anything, but maybe this noble destroyed his father's business. Maybe he told everybody around to stay away from this forge. And so he has a little kind of a bone to pick with this enemy, right? So that's where we get the enemy. And again, it's all just from the top of your head, right? So we're going to skip down here for just a minute. Belief, okay? This is the primary belief structure for your Mouseguard, okay? You have to think about, you got to think about these things. What is it? Basically, what it's asking you to do is write a belief for your character based on how he views his role in the guard. A belief is an overarching ethical and moral stance. The example that it uses in the book is Chris writes the following belief for Baron. I'll build a good name for the Mouseguard. He bases this belief on Baron's compassionate side. He knows that Baron is going to be called on to fight, but perhaps he can use his talents to demonstrate that the guard is a force for good. Okay, so this is your belief structure, guys. This is something that is at the... Hold on one second. Let's see if I can switch this back. At the heart of who your mouse is, this is his belief structure. Everything is kind of funneled through this filter, right? So you can have it be that he's cynical, he doesn't believe anyone, that he believes that, through hard work you can accomplish anything, or, I'm going to, lie, cheat, and steal my way through anything, right? So you can do a bunch of stuff like that. So with this one, I don't know. Maybe we just say, because he is kind of a minor, maybe we'll say, through hard work, I can accomplish anything, no matter how difficult. So this is his primary belief structure. This is everything that he does is going to go through this filter. If something goes hard, it's not going to faze him. And one thing we'll get into in another video, guys, is if you play this belief, you actually earn good stuff. They're called fate points. We'll get to those in the next video, okay? But this is his primary belief structure. If ever you are unsure about how this mouse is going to act, that's what you go back to. That through hard work, I can accomplish anything. So he's not going to take the easy way out. He's going to bust his butt and help people, and encourage them to work hard to make whatever they want happen. Okay? So again, fairly simple, but it's good to talk about it. Next, we are going to skip a goal, because a goal is a session-specific thing. Every session, you will write a goal for your character. Okay? Every single time. So if at the end of this session you did not reach your goal, that's fine. The next session, you just write up a new one. And you do not write your goal until, sorry guys, I keep forgetting to switch the camera back to me. You do not write your goal until you know what the mission is. So when you say, okay, the mission is to go to Lockhaven, or escort a diplomat from Elmos to Lockhaven. Well, the goal is, it's something tangible, something not only to get them there, but to get them there early, or something like that. Some small goal. And if you do reach that goal, if you RP to that goal, then you actually earn a persona point, which again, we'll get into the next thing. There's fate points and there's persona points. I promise I'll get through everything. But if you're playing to these skills, or not these skills, excuse me. If you're playing to these things here, to the belief, your goals, and your instincts, you're going to earn points, which is very helpful later. Okay? So for right now, we're not going to do anything with goal. Instinct. What is instinct? Well, I think we're all pretty aware of, animals act on instinct. What is their first reaction? When something goes down without even thinking, muscle memory, brain memory, those neural pathways that have been established within animals and people, right? We just do something. We all know that guy that if he's scared, he's just going to punch something. You also know that guy that if he's scared, he's going to run away. You know that guy that in an argument is going to calmly, talk it out and think it through before he responds. The other guy who's going to get angry and freak out. You could say something like, my first instinct is to draw my blade, right? And so when you are faced in a situation where you're surprised or you're not sure, your blade always comes out. You play to that instinct because as a mouse, that is your instinctual response. Okay? So something here. So we'll just say with this one, guys, I wouldn't say he's got a sword, but let's just say his instinct is to something with his hammer. I think he would use a hammer as a forge guy, right? Or as a smith. So let's see, what could we think of with his instinct that so maybe, okay, so maybe, oops, I just messed that up. Maybe attacking first with my hammer is, and apologizing later is better than dying. Again, that's not really a great instinct, guys, but you get the point, okay? Remember, this is the first Mouseguard that I'm trying to make, so it's something like that, your first reaction. And I think if his first reaction is always to attack, and he rationalizes that, well, if I have attack and say, sorry, I wasn't sure, it's better than not, right? So, again, you don't always have to play to that instinct. But if you do, you get points to be used later, okay? So, let's see where we're at now. Ooh, sorry. All right, so I think we are on, yeah, we're on it. So, with that, guys, we're at about 18 minutes, okay? That is just the basic character for Mouseguard. It is, we have Connor, the red-furred mouse, who came from Copperwood. His family was a smithing family. They had a forge. When he enlisted in the Mouseguard, he was sent to an artisan named Seamus, who was an armorer, and he taught him that trade. Okay, how to work metal, how to do that. His mentor, Colin, taught him. He really stressed fighting. He was one of those types. So that is his background. So he's very good with his hands. He's a skilled fighter. He knows how to work metal through everything that he came into contact with. He has a friend named Kim. She was his first love, still a friend. He still wants her back, but he's been friend zoned. But he can always count on her. You have the Lord in whatever city that they're in or territory that they're in that he hates because he stiffed his father and ruined his father's business. Maybe he had to go into the Mouseguard because his father was going to lose his forge with taxes and everything, right? And again, you see how this story is being made, right? It just works as you go through it. So his belief is that, through hard work, you can accomplish anything, no matter how difficult. This is who he is. He's going to bust his butt in every situation to make it work, and he's going to succeed, or he's going to give his all to try. And his first instinct is to attack, because apologizing for it later is better than dying. He doesn't want to die. He's not going to give anybody the advantage on him, so his first instinctual reaction is to do that. Okay? So if you think about it, guys, we're probably about 20 minutes, give or take, and we have just scratched the surface on just creating a character of who he is. Right now, this is pure backstory. This is all roleplay. This is roleplay gold. If you're just not sure what he is or where he came from, all of this information on this character sheet now tells you who he is. You don't have to worry about it, because just in the creation, it includes your backstory. You have to connect them all, right? Your typical Call of Cthulhu or 5th edition or Fate or any of those, you don't really, in the character creation, you don't come up with this much of a backstory. So hopefully you guys, that made sense for you guys. Again, this is probably 1/3 of it, so I might have to do 3 videos, but I just wanted you to, just kind of see how it goes and how it starts. I hope that helped. There's a lot of, referencing in the book what the territories are and stuff like that. Just kind of got to need the book to go through it. I'll go through it and I'll list them for you, but I'm not good enough with video yet to put them all up on my screen. So till next time, guys, there will be, I'll be making a part 2 here in a few minutes. So enjoy part 1. See you in the next one soon. Later.